Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on the official Hermitcraft Modsauce server. In the last episode we rebuilt our smelter and it has done a fantastic job smelting down all of my iron and gold. And since then I've been hanging out with DMAC and Slipgator on TeamSpeak, and DMAC has been showing me quite a few cool little things that I need to know about moving forward. So there are a lot of things we're going to be doing in this episode, but as I mentioned in the last one of the first things we are going to do is get some lava from the Nether. We want to sort out that power source, but there is one little job that I have to do before that, and I thought I would show you this since it's a little bit amusing, I guess. Have a look over here. There is a hole a hole in our ceiling. That's because there is a pond up here that generates the water down very deep, and you can see that the pump that's attached to the quarry has added all of these things around it. Now, one of the things I don't want to do is touch any of this place up here. I just want this to be completely natural, and unfortunately that's kind of ruined this bit over here, hasn't it? So there's a little job I've got to do straight away. I'm just going to repair this, and it shouldn't be too difficult really. I'm just going to place down a bunch of dirt at the bottom here, then remove all of these things. It looks like it mostly removed the water, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem, but there you go. I thought I'd show you that quickly. It kind of amused me. Anyway, I'll get to work on fixing this and I'll be back with you in a moment. So this was about the best that I could do. You know, I was kind of expecting this to sort itself out, because once the water is down at the bottom, you'd think the stuff on the next layer would then form the way that source blocks do, and then kind of form a layer over the top of this, and then the next layer would go and the one after that, but it is not working. And trying to fix this thing with a bucket of water isn't doing much either. For a second there I thought that was going to fix the entire thing. Typical, you leave one thing behind and it goes, but you saw what it did there. It's just not doing that all the way across. So I'm going to have to look into a way to filling this back up with water. I want it to look nice and pretty out here. But let's move on to the Nether. We need to transfer lava from there over to the overworld, and I've had no access to my plot world server, which I use to test things, to play around with different stuff before I try and do it here on the actual Hermitcraft Modsauce server. And so I had to kind of guess with this, and it actually worked out pretty well. So if we come out here and go down this little staircase, and I should really move this extra block here so I can get down a little quicker. In fact, I'll probably, make something a bit more permanent at some point, but this is very temporary. We go down here, hopefully we won't get shot at by ghasts, and then we drop, oh my god, those are big spiders. They are absolutely massive. Look at those guys. Oh man, some of the extra mobs they have here in the Nether are awesome. Really do like those spiders. Anyway, well, this is a good sign. It's filled up with lava, as you can see, our tank has. And what I first thought was, how are we going to power this? And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we could power the actual thing that pumps out the lava with lava itself? And of course there's one of these right here, a lava generator. This is from Extra Utilities. So like the generator we've been using for charcoal, this does the same thing with lava, which it is currently doing. So we extract the lava out with a liquid node. This thing runs without power, it puts it into the tank. Don't shoot at my goddamn thing. That is a problem. A problem, yes. I'm going to have to build a structure around this. Anyway, you can see what it's doing. It's then taking it out, putting it into the lava generator, which powers the first thing. So all I had to do was just put a bucket into the tank. One bucket of lava and it got going. Please don't blow up my stuff. What we need to do next is take the lava out of there. And I'm really worried. Do you know what? I am going to build ourselves a little hut around this, because I am worried about those ghasts destroying it. Okay, I feel much safer now. However, while I've been building this, we have made some new friends. Look at these guys, they've been coming over to check out what I'm doing. And by the way, there's loads of stone everywhere. I think this is from where other people have been mining the lava. There's nothing underneath it as well, so I guess we're probably not going to use a lot of this stuff anyway, so this little bit over here should do us well. Some of the things I've brought with me here, though, is what I'm going to show you next. We need a way to get this stuff from here back to the overworld. I've got a dimensional anchor to make sure this place is loaded. We'll have a quick look, and it looks like it's not on a chunk border, which is a good thing. If I had accidentally built it on that, that would have sucked. But anyway, there we go. That's going to load up this chunk right here that's got this in it, so that's going to work. What we need to do now is create a way of getting it back to the overworld. So if we place this thing right here, DMAC showed me these items. We can craft this with something called a QED, and that's actually something we're going to do in this episode. It looks really, really cool. If we click on R, you can see this is the QED right here. So this is like a crafting bench, except it's not quite. It does things automatically for you. It takes time to do it. We'll get into that in a bit. But it's basically another way of crafting. And so with this stuff right here, which we could easily have afforded and we can make an ender transmitter. So DMAC has kindly given me a couple of these to use before we can actually craft them ourselves. Now notice it says frequency X001. You actually get a whole bunch of instructions on how to use that when you first make it. Except when you rename it in an anvil, you give it a frequency, and the frequency is X001. So we have a transmitter and a receiver. So what we want to do is put the transmitter in the node. It's going to transmit this item on that frequency. So when we go back into the overworld, we're going to be able to receive through this. And I've just had a thought. This is a transfer node. I guess the transfer node is probably just going to sit like that by itself and then point into what it's sending to when we put it in the world. It probably won't need a tank or anything behind it. That's going to be interesting to see how that works. So let's just double check. We put the transmitter there, we're going to put the receiver in the overworld. So let's head back up there and do that. You saw that, right? Oh, I pretty much missed it. Look, there's another one. What is this guy right here? He's a nitro creeper. What the hell? Little red fella heading towards me. I thought he was friendly for a second, and then I thought, no, probably not in this game. Nitro creeper. Let's get my bow here and see if we can kill this guy. See if he drops. Oh, he's one hit kill. That's good. Don't think he dropped anything of interest there. Oh, do you know what? I need to explore the Nether sometime and just see all the wonderful things it has to offer. Because when I first came over here, I was too weak. I couldn't fly. I didn't have good armor. But now we're a lot better equipped. So at some point, I'm going to have a little adventure and explore this place. Anyway, we're pretty much back here now. So why don't we head all the way over there? I've got a good idea of how I'm going to set this up. It should be fairly straightforward. On the ceiling, I want to have the node facing downwards. So as I pointed out a moment ago, there's not actually going to be anything behind it. Let's use the pick. There we go, a lot quicker like that. So we put it like this facing downwards, and then we put this thing in. It should just start coming through, and it does. Yes, look at that. That's it, we're doing it. It's now pumping it out in the Nether, and we're bringing it into the overworld, and that is such a cool way of doing it. I really do like that. Anyway, let's have a look at this QED thing. I think I have the right mod. Apparently I've selected chisel. I do not remember selecting chisel. I've noticed that NEI can be a little bit funny lately, so if we select extra utilities, one of the things I keep doing when I'm trying to find this one is I accidentally click on Ender Utilities, because it's, it begins with an E and it ends in Utilities, and I end up looking at the wrong stuff. Anyway, this is the QED right here. It is the quadratic equation device. What a very cool name. This thing looks awesome as well. And it is pretty straightforward to craft in some respects. Like, it's not difficult. All of these items right here are made out of simple stuff. You see that obsidian and ender pearls. The one in the middle is made out of more of those, and then burnt quartz and diamonds, and the burnt quartz is just quartz blocks that have been burnt, funny enough. So we can easily craft one of those. Then we got to craft some of these ender flux crystals as well, and there you go, they're not so expensive either. So I'm going to spend some time crafting those. I'll see how many I can make. We have a ton of obsidian and ender pearls. I think the only thing that's going to limit us is the burnt quartz, but that's only used on this thing, so we should be able to craft a lot of these ender flux crystals, and we actually want to make a lot of those with our QED table, because the more of these we have, the faster this is going to craft. So I'll make those and I'll be back with you in a moment. So here it is, the QED table and the ender flux crystals around it. This thing's going to run pretty fast with the amount that we got here. I'm not sure how many you can have in a radius around, but I think if I remember from DMAC's table, he didn't have them further than 3 blocks away, so I decided to stick to that. But this thing is really, really cool. It does something that I think should be in, vanilla and perhaps in all the mods. This little arrow here, you can actually click on it and see the recipes that you can use on this table, which is really cool. So we can create retrieval nodes. This is going to be something we will do soon. This will upgrade our storage system and make it a lot more efficient. We can make the same thing for liquids and also for energy nodes as well. Now, we haven't made regular energy nodes yet, and I think you can do the same thing with the wireless transmitters with an energy node. So where we've recently built our RF power source, we've got the capacitor bank just over there. If we use one of these energy nodes, we should be able to wirelessly transmit the energy with both the node and the wireless transmitter that we have used this episode. We are really, really sort of getting into this now and getting up to the next level, which I like. This is cool. And so from here, there are a whole bunch more recipes. Now, you may notice something right here. Iron ore and coal will give you free iron ore. Now, we've been doing this, and we've been getting 2 ingots for every iron ore that we smelted in our smeltery, and I literally just went through 3,000 of our iron ore, and then later on that day I was hanging out with DMAC. He showed me this and I was like, you got to be kidding me, I've just smelted all of my iron. But the thing is, iron is cheap, there's all these other ones in the game as well, which will be way more worthwhile being done efficiently like this. So one of the things I do want to do, not sure we're going to do it straight away, is look into automating this, see if it's possible to pull and put items into this thing, and then that way we can automatically craft stuff. But I think what we should do right now is grab, let's just do iron, since I still have loads of it. There's loads coming in from the quarry. I am going to set up more quarries as well as we go along, and then somewhere back here I do have my coal. I believe it's this one. Yes, it is. Look how much we have. We can use plenty of this with the coal, that's for sure, to get more ingots. So let's just grab some of that, and then we're going to chuck it in this table, and it should be really fast because of all these enderflux crystals. So let's put one in there, one to the side of it, and off it goes. Look at that. Ooh, loads of particle effects as well. And the colours are changing, aren't they? They're all getting kind of brighter. That is really, really cool. Look at that thing go. Let's actually remove a few of these and just see how much it slows down by. So if we just take these ones over here, then it's probably about half the amount now. And look, it does go a lot slower. It's going to be interesting to learn how many of these you can put around it, because they are really cheap to craft. And if we want to have a proper table set up somewhere, then we could use loads of these and just make it super fast. And we could also use it permanently for ore processing as well if we can automate it, because look at that, that is much more efficient than what we were doing before. But at the moment it does mean we've got to sit around manually and pull this stuff out, because it won't be long before that fills up. But there you go, it's pretty awesome, this thing. And I think what we're going to do next, I'm actually not sure what the plan was to do next, so I'm going to go look at my notes and I'll be back with you in a bit. So the next thing we're going to do is some smelting, and I know what you're thinking, you must be mad, you got iron in your inventory, you just found out a more efficient way of doing this. Actually, we're going to do this just to show you something that DMAC was pointing out to me. This setup that we have around here is actually really bad for the server. Now my frames at the moment are around 39, 40, if I turn this clock on over here, and then this one as well. We have a third one here, by the way, because the one in the middle just doesn't want to update. But now my frames have dropped down to about 25, 27, and I can feel it. I could feel it the other day when I was playing. I was moving around, it felt juttery and it wasn't quite smooth. That might be picking up in the video. But anyway, DMAC was over here and he told me that this is the reason why. This is a really bad way of actually doing this, because they provide block updates, and the block updates apparently update a lot of stuff in the area. So as soon as we turn this off, the game becomes a little more smooth, and he was telling me an alternative way that we could get the liquids out of here. So if we remove, in fact actually one thing I did want to do was have this stuff ready to go, because it'd be nice to compare it side by side. Because what we're going to do is remove the faucets that we have on the end here. We'll remove that one and the one over there, and we'll get rid of this redstone as well. And we're going to replace them with transfer nodes for liquids right here. So that's actually going to interface, oh yeah, you can see it. It's kind of connecting in the middle there as well. It's interfacing with the smeltery, and that thing I guess is now going to pull out the liquid and put it down below. Now it doesn't have an upgrade to make it faster yet. That's one thing it could do. You could also put a wireless transmitter in here, and there it goes, right there. That's awesome. So as soon as it's done one, yeah, I don't think you need to upgrade this. As soon as it's done making the cast, you can see straight away another ingot forms. So compared to this, it is definitely going to be faster. And a lot smoother on our FPS as well, although it does feel a little bit stuttery. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm seeing my frames drop down to about 20 a second at the moment. That seems to be a little inconsistent. It's just going up and down between 20 and 30 at the moment. I don't know. This is supposed to be better, and DMAC really knows his stuff, so I'm going to trust him and go with this. And this is going to make our ore processing a little bit faster, even though we've found a method that provides us with... Oh, that's the wrong thing. Provides us with more. However, it does use coal as well. So if we were to do that all the time, we might end up running low on coal. But I doubt it. You know, like, this quarrying is just ridiculous. We get tons of the stuff. Anyway, I am babbling on again. I'm going to tidy this up. And again, I'll be back with you shortly. My frames are just going all over the place. They're up to 60 now, and a moment ago they were down to 20. I don't know what's going on, but I just want to comment on a couple more things to do with this smeltery here. So first of all, one thing I've noticed is that these things pick up a lot of the liquid, because they can hold 8,000 in here right now. So you hardly ever see any liquids on the inside there. And also they're working on this side as well. However, these ones don't seem to be picking up anything, which is interesting. It's like the ones on the other side have priority, and they seem to pick up a lot of the stuff straight away. So if you were smelting lots of different ore types in here, then all of the liquid will get sucked out from one type before it has time to mix with another one, which is interesting. And I also confirmed this with King Daddy DMAC, but I was kind of suspicious as well as to the way this worked. Was it used a certain amount of fuel to heat the entire thing. So if you had a small one, it would use just as much fuel while it's running as it would a big one. So it's done based on time. So if you have a bigger smeltery, it has a larger capacity, and then that means that the fuel that you're putting into it is more efficient for the amount that you have, which is something that I noticed because we were smelting a ton of stuff over here and it wasn't using as much fuel as before, and that's because it's based on the time it takes to do it rather than the amount that's in there, which is good stuff to note if you're starting out. If you can make a bigger smeltery, it's going to be more efficient with your fuel. I've been doing some crafting with our new QED table, and I've made ourselves some transfer nodes for energy and also some more of these wireless transmitters. We're going to do a little bit of an experiment here and see how these things work. I'm kind of curious what we can do with it. So what we want to do is put an output over here at the back, and this means I'm no longer going to be picking up our capacitor banks and sending them around the place. So that has immediately attached itself. I've noticed that that thing there isn't actually set up to be an input, is it? Let's change that. Okay, maybe it was. It was an input, so's that one. We want to change that one to an output. So this thing should start filling up with energy. It's got 10,000 RF in it already, which is awesome. This is a real step forward for us right now. So I called the previous thing X001, and I thought that's going to be a little difficult to remember maybe which numbers are what. So I called this one XE, E for energy, X for Asuma. So we're going to put transmitter number 1 in here first of all. Now that's going to be transmitting on that frequency. We have 2 receivers for this. This is what I wanted to test. Can we actually power 2 things through the same frequency? I've also just noticed that that attaches itself to that. I'd rather it go into the capacitor bank first, but that I guess is technically doing the same thing. So we want to set up another quarry over here. Let's plop down our quarry. We're going to put our ender chest on the top of it, and our, every time man, plump is the word that I think of. We're going to put our plump next to our quarry plus. There we go. Okay, so now this thing just needs power. So on this side, we put down our energy node. It's going to attach itself. It didn't attach itself. That could be a problem. Actually, I already think I know the solution for this. Somewhere I should have these things, energy conduits. I think this is actually going to translate the energy into the correct thing for the quarry. So let's grab this thing right here. There we go, we caught it. And put that there. And then put this on the side of it. Will it connect? Oh, no, I've actually not placed that where I'm supposed to place it. There we go, it connected. Okay, that's amazing. Let's put in our receiver. And this should be pretty straightforward, right? It's going to receive and get this thing going. Powering 1 connection. It's holding no RF. Maybe it's going straight into the quarry. And I don't see anything happening at the moment, which is kind of worrying. Let's go and have a look over here and see if there's any activity. Oh yes, you can hear that sound. There's definitely something going on. So although it looks like it's not holding any RF, it's definitely using it. It's coming straight through and going straight into the quarry. That is good. Right, so let's go back into the base and see if we can use 2 things on the same frequency. In here, I have this thing right here, our alloy smelter. I picked up a capacitor to power this thing because I was sick of using the generator. And now we're taking things to the next level, as we're going to be using the energy node, and that could possibly go directly on the side of it, but we'll put it there for now. That also seems to have attached itself to the deep storage unit up above. Right, so if we put the same receiver, is that going to receive? It is, and it's holding the RF because this thing on the side is already full up and not using it. So we can use the same frequency for multiple things. That is really cool to know. That might put some sort of bandwidth on it. And now that I think about it, the energy node itself, if I put another one of these in, is it going to send it out on the same frequency? If so, yeah, that would be kind of strange. I don't know. Anyway, right, so what I want to make with this thing right now is more of these energetic alloys. We're actually going to use this to upgrade our capacitor banks and also to upgrade these machines themselves. Turns out they have a little upgrade that they can use. And right now, I really do feel like we're just making leaps and bounds forward with the technology that we're learning about and making things a lot more efficient. We now have our quarry running wirelessly, and oh, it's ever so good. So let's chuck this stuff in here, and we're going to craft the upgrade when this is done. Turns out this didn't actually work. The universal cable doesn't work with this thing over here. It was actually using up the energy it already had stored. So anyway, I've been crafting this stuff for the upgrade. We can actually go and put this back in here now. This upgrade is going to make our machines faster, which is great because look at how slow these things are. I mean, it's just done one little notch there. In fact, I swear that's going a little faster than usual. But anyway, let's go over here, drop this. This is the crafting recipe for it. Again, just if you want to see the recipes, it uses all the double layered and the basic capacitors. But this is the octadactic. capacitor right there. I've crafted 16 of those. I do plan on making more of these machines and making a room for this as well. So we're going to put one in this thing right here. I don't think you can put more than one in. And that's going to make it go... Wow, that was a fair bit faster. I was not expecting to be able to gauge how much faster it's going, but that's doing at least like 4 times, maybe even 5 times as fast there. That is a really good upgrade. And we're going to put that on this machine as well. That's awesome. Oh, it also increases the amount of RF it can store as well. Interesting stuff. So in this episode we have actually done a lot of smaller little things, mainly things that DMAC have been showing me, and we have really kind of progressed a lot further forward through these smaller things. And in the next episode my plan is to do some more building to expand the base, make it bigger, and build the rooms for some of the things we've been doing recently. But today I just had one of those days where I was very busy with lots of other stuff and I didn't have too much time to play, but I have certainly enjoyed my playtime today, and I gotta say we're going to end this episode with something hilarious. So check this out. I have a safari net. This works like the golden lasso. You can pick mobs up with it, except the one that I wanted to pick up didn't work with the golden lasso. However, with the safari net it did. So let's go and plop this guy down in here. Look at that. Oh my days, that is amazing. Oh, this guy needs some light on him. That's what he needs. Let's put some torches up there. Look at that. We captured one of the big spiders. Isn't this guy absolutely amazing? Can he hurt me? He can't even hurt me. He can jump up and down though. I love this. Look at this mob right here. It is the heat scarf spider. It is ever so cool. Do you know what? I think I'm going to be picking up a few mobs like this and keeping them in my base. This guy is awesome. That's going to wrap up the end of this episode. As always, if you've enjoyed it, please do leave a like. It will always be appreciated. And I will catch you next time. Bye bye.